Hello, this is Buona from Buona.tv, and today I want to talk about Alltop, and this kind of continues my conversation I talked about in my previous video about Feed My Inbox, and that conversation basically is surrounding RSS, or Really Simple Syndication. I talked about some of the people out there who don't want to deal with RSS readers and RSS aggregation, and just understanding the technology and the process of gathering different websites into one central location. Now, those of us who love RSS and those of us who use it daily understand the power, but we also understand the technology, and we've already went through that learning curve. If you don't want to go through that learning curve, I want to talk about Alltop, which is another solution for you. Alltop is kind of an aggregator of old. I think this reminds me of some of the older sites back in the day that used to aggregate news for you, like Yahoo News was a completely different animal back then, and it would aggregate and categorize sites for you, and a lot of other sites do that too in the form of Google News today, and I believe Microsoft has a solution as well. But Alltop kind of handpicked a lot of URLs, and it kind of looks like the site Pop URLs if you've ever been there. And they've recently revamped the interface. It used to be just a bunch of text on the front page and you can pick a category, but now they've put this giant search box here where you can search for various terms. Let's search for food, and you see down here I got diabetes, fitness, food, and wine, and each one of these are hyperlinks that I can click on and go to the respective Alltop page. Now there's also some categories that are defined: work, living, culture, interest, tech, people, good, news, geos, and sports, also alphabetically. Now, this doesn't include everything. These are just some of the more popular topics, and the alphabetical topics will probably be a more in-depth. Like, for example, Twitterati is not going to be in its own category. It may be in tech, but if you click Twitterati, it takes you to twitter.alltop.com, and it kind of shows you the latest tweets of some of the quote-unquote A-lister Twitterers out there. Scobalizer, Merlin Man, Eric Rice, scroll down, John Gruber, there's Chris Perillo, iJustine, so on, Shell Israel, Even Williams, BizStone. So all the top Twitter users are on this Alltop page. You can see that it follows the format somekeyword.alltop.com, and I can put in news.alltop.com, and guess what? That's the URL for all the top world news. And this is a great site to get a mix of different news outlets, not just CNN, not just MSNBC, but several news outlets, including the BBC, Al Jazeera, let's see, Jerusalem Post, and Christian Science Monitor, Sydney Morning Herald, The Hindu, Times of India. So it's from all over the world, and not just centralized to the United States, which I kind of like about this particular page. Now, going back a couple pages, some of these topics are really pretty cool. I mean, some of the, for example, the food topic is one of the ones I like the best. If you go to food, I found some good food sites here as far as food reviews, recipes, and just eating habits and fitness in general. Some of those sites are on there. Another one of my favorites is the GTD, or Getting Things Done channel. This is all about getting things done, and based on David Allen's book, basically, of getting things done. And there's 43 folders and productivity, so it's all about getting things done. Now, you notice that when I hover over certain sites, it gives me, first off, you see the last five stories on the website. And if you hover over it, it gives you a textual introduction of what that article is about, so it's kind of like an excerpt. Also, if you hover over the site, they have some little plugins here on some snapshot stuff, and I believe that's all the mouse over capability that's there. Now, if you don't like some sites that are here, you can click hide, and you can hide certain things. So if I don't like Life Clever, I can just click hide here, and it hides it, and it goes away. So that's a good way to customize this in a way you see fit. Now, one thing I want to add that I wish you can do is rearrange this. You know, like move this box up here and move that box to the left or right, or kind of widgetize it. Pretty sure they're probably thinking of something like that, but I haven't seen it yet. So that's Alltop in a nutshell. Again, it's an online magazine rack of popular topics. It goes out and finds some of the better websites out there for you. Excuse me, if you don't feel like looking, or you trust in their judgment, I recommend this site for you. It's a good way to get a brief overview of what's going on particular news topics, and you don't have to deal with RSS at all. It's all aggregated for you on alltop.com. Alright, this is Buona from Buona.tv, and this is Alltop.